Well, my project is really a personal project, but I'm hoping there's aspects of it that can benefit everyone. By way of background, I was a financial planner for 20 years, and I started getting disgusted with what was going on around me, both in my financial industry and also in the world. So I decided I was going to change my life. I wanted to simplify things, and I knew that in order to do that, I had to cut back on my spending, and I also had to find ways to become more self-sustainable. So back in 2006, I quit my job, which is a very scary thing to do. My son went off to college. It was really stupid to do both of those in the same year. And I put together a 5-year plan for how I was going to learn to live more simply, to eat better, to honor the planet, and to live on less. And so that was basically my game plan. I set about to learn as much as I could about energy efficiency, about growing and preserving my own food, about food storage, about permaculture, and about alternative health that I could do myself. So that was basically my game plan. It's working pretty well. I would say as of 2010, I'm saving over $500 a month on my living expenses. I have a whole lot more free time. Because of what I did on energy efficiency, I only have to dust once a month. Dust just doesn't get in. And a lot of health issues have gone away. So it's really been energizing to do all of this. But I am basically a one-man band. I am at the point now where I'm doing some consulting, but also in about 2 weeks I will be putting up a free website where I'm basically going to just be downloading everything that's been in my head for the last 5 years. So it's accessible to everybody with a way to contact me and share information in case somebody else knows a better way to do things. I am not a computer person, so this is my biggest foot dragger on the whole thing. But I've been practicing a little bit on Facebook, and that's where I'll announce when this is up and running, but hopefully in a couple of weeks. So that's kind of what I'm doing. For example, my biggest challenge has been the organic gardening. It is truly sweat and discipline, and I can always use help there. But, you know, I'm in a very caring community, which is Lake Wildwood, but it has tons of rules and regulations, limited fencing. I have a 30% slope to garden on, a north-facing direction, herds of deer, tons of turkeys, and I just had to learn to say, okay, this too is workable. How are you going to find a way to do this? And it is working. I mean, I have a pretty small operation. What I've had to do is I had to grade the land myself because you couldn't get equipment back there, and I didn't have the money to do it. I had to build paths with steps because it was hell on my knees. So I had to kind of create something that I could get up and down all the time. I had to create retainer walls for the fruit trees because the water was just going down the hill. And it just, you know, it went on and on and on. But so far, it's producing a fair amount of food. I'm learning a lot. I do all my own composting. I make all my own compost tea. I have very little garbage, either green waste or garbage. So it's just kind of totally changed the way I do things. You can ask me questions later if you want to know anything more about what I've done on energy efficiency or permaculture or food storage or any of that. Because, well, I've got tons of information in here. But the one thing I'm always looking for is ways to do it better, to do it more simply and more cost effective. I mean, it's like a game with me. How can I save money? So one of the things I'm working on now is ways to make all my own cleaning products and all my own personal care. So there's a flyer back there which will give you directions for making 10 gallons of laundry soap for $2. Wow. It's so easy. So, you know, and it's all biodegradable, and you can add your own essential oil at the end if you want to. And then the other thing I've been doing with all the changes in the weather, I started seeing changes in gardening where the normal ways of doing things weren't working. So a few months ago I started a study group, and we're working with David's nature spirits using the perlander material. So instead of looking at weather patterns and what's normally done in gardening, we're calling in the nature spirits. And it is amazing what we're learning. and what's working. So that's a whole new area for me, although I had worked with Perlander stuff about 15 years ago. So that's been fun. Again, the website will be up soon. It will be announced on my Facebook site, which is Simple Self-Sufficient Living. But in the meantime, there's a handout back there, which are things anybody can do today to just get started on energy efficiency, food storage, growing your own herbs, and the medicinal advantages of doing that. So it's just a quick starter. In terms of how I can help, I don't really need a lot of help unless somebody really loves to do gardening. I just had a whole load of tree chips delivered. It covers enough driveways to park 3 cars. And so that's probably about 400 wheelbarrows down the slope. So hey, you want to work out? Come to my house. So anyway, that's what I'm doing, but I'm happy to help others if anybody wants to start.
Well, working with you, people can learn too, so that, you know.
So anyway, thank you, and thank you for asking me.